Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild and Flying High, free NHL and MLB picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down another big slate with a bunch of hockey and a bunch of baseball. We will jump into things here and take a look at the current NHL standings of what happened here on the weekend. Um, Carolina in first, 109. New Jersey in second, 108. The Rangers in third with 106. Close race here in the Metropolitan for the final for the top three spots. Atlantic, Boston now has the most wins in NHL history in a season. Congrats to the Bruins. Um, they haven't slowed down heading into the playoffs. We'll see once the playoffs start what actually happens, but I wouldn't want to face this Boston team right now, that's for sure. Toronto, Tampa Bay locked into their spots in the Atlantic. Wild card teams. It's basically still a four-team race here. Buffalo has to win out to have a chance. Um, Close race here between these four teams, mostly the top three, but Buffalo not eliminated technically. Otherwise, Ottawa, Detroit, they are eliminated. And then the following teams, bottom feeders of the Eastern Conference. In the West, Colorado in first place, Dallas in second, Minnesota in third. I just received some messages reminding me that Minnesota is not going to win the division, and that I was wrong about my statement that the Wild would win the division. I'm sorry. I guess you have to be right about everything, or else people get at you for it. So it is what it is. Minnesota not going to win the Central Division unless something crazy happens where Colorado and Dallas lose the rest of their games. It's not going to happen. So Minnesota will likely finish third. Still a race here between Dallas and Colorado for first. I think Colorado has the bit of a tougher schedule. I think their game in Edmonton tomorrow will decide what happens here for the winner of the Central Division. But still a very close race, 4 points. Vegas, Edmonton, and LA here in the Pacific. Starting to be not as much of a close race between LA and the top two here. LA is falling off and now 5 to 7 points behind and eliminated from winning the Pacific. Wildcard teams, Seattle, followed by Winnipeg, Calgary, and Nashville, all fighting for that final spot. And if you look here, Seattle could very well finish third in the Pacific, and LA could be a wildcard team. So definitely no playoff matchup set. After that, we have the bottom feeders of the Western Conference. Bring up the first game we're going to talk about, and I will jump into the chat. What's up, Terry? I smashed like. Thank you, Richie. You always do. We meet again. ... Hey, Terry. Hey, Crystal. Bruins won all those games because IceX faded half. LOL. Poor IceX. I get it. Some people bet against their team because then either your team wins and you're happy, or your team loses and you make money. But I can't see it that way. I'm just wrong. But you were wrong. How dare these people who can't publicly be wrong? We expect perfection. Yeah, it wasn't a capping situation. It was kind of a thing like people just decided to message me and show a screenshot of where I said the Wild were going to win the Central. And it's like, okay, well, sorry, I'm not right about everything. Stars lose tonight, and one of the Blues matchups, shake my head, but it's true. We'll see. We'll see. Doesn't stop the scoring the Stars will do tonight, though. We will definitely see. And that's a good segue, talking about the Stars, into our first game, Dallas and Detroit. So for the setup on today's show, I picked a certain amount of games I'm going to talk about, and then I will do kind of a run through with the following games after that. Here, Dallas minus 176 to minus 200. Detroit plus 138 to plus 170. Sixes, couple 6.5s here in this one. And I agree with Richie about goals in this game. I'm not taking the over, which I probably should because I do have 3 props in this game. So I do lean with the over, especially out of 6. But I'm just going to stick with props in this game. Joe Pavelski, anytime goal, plus 215. He has a goal in 8 of his last 10 games. For Detroit, Lucas Raymond to get a point. He has a point in 4 straight games. He's a plus 106. And then Moritz Seider, who has an assist in 5 of his last 7 games. I took him to get a point, which is safer, and that's plus 120 for him to get a point. Miro Heiskanen to get an assist. He's done that in 13 of his last 16 games. It's minus 130, so it's a little bit out of my price range. So I'd parlay that with something else. But Pavelski goal, Raymond point, and Seider point, all at plus money in this one. Moving into our second game here, our go Red Wings pass. Let's go Joe. Let's go Miro. Yeah, both those guys Richie's been targeting for best bet. So in this one here, Buffalo and the New York Rangers. Buffalo Sabres plus 140 to plus 171. Rangers minus 182 to minus 200. 6.5s right across the board in this one. And what do you know? Devin Levi is starting another game. I think his 3rd in a row or 4th in a row. I wonder if he'll start again tomorrow when the Sabres play the Devils. I get it. The Sabres are fighting for their playoff lives, but realistically, they're not making it. It's realistically not going to happen. And with that in mind, that's my opinion, at least. The Sabres team coming into this game, 6-1-1 in their last 8. They've been trending towards the over. Rangers 10-2-2 in their last 14. They've been trending towards the under. Rangers 6-0-1 in the last 7 meetings between the teams. The last 3 have gone to overtime. I won't be surprised if we get an overtime matchup in this game. And even though I don't think Buffalo wins, I've loved playing Buffalo at this dog price all season long. Even though maybe it's not that they don't win. It's even though I don't believe they have the chance of the playoffs, they believe that they do, and they're playing like it. Looking at player props, Owen Power, it's really tough. Only one book, Bet99, has him to get an assist at plus 125. Otherwise, it's extremely hard to find him. But if you can find Owen Power to get a point, he has an assist in 5 of his last 6 games. So if you can get him to take a point or an assist, that is a good bet. Rasmus Dahlin to get an assist. He's done that in 5 straight games. That's plus 100. He's also done it in 7 of his last 9 games. But the big one here, Casey Middlestat to get a point is plus 105. He has a point in 6 of his last 7 games, and he has 2 or more points in 4 of his last 5. So Middlestat moved to the top line with Skinner and Tuck, has really taken off lately, and he should not be plus money to get a point. I think that's priced incorrectly. So I like Middlestat point and Dahlin assist, Owen Power, if you can find him. Then I would take that as well. Lean Sabres pass, only 3 plays in the NHL today. Yep, you don't need to go crazy here at the end of the season. Middlestat anytime goal, I like it. The bum anytime goal, no, I don't like it. I don't bet on bums. But moving on to our next game, Minnesota Wild and Chicago Blackhawks. The Wild, let me refresh this and see if anything. There we go. There we go. The Wild minus 235 to minus 275. Chicago plus 180 to plus 220. 6s, I see a couple 5.5s available in this one. And I refreshed it just because I knew that you can get the Wild puck line at plus money now. Anywhere from, I see 1 minus 110. Most spots plus 100, plus 107. It was announced that the Minnesota Wild left Kirill Kaprizov, Jared Spurgeon, Matt Zuccarello, and Jonas Brodin. So 4 huge pieces of the team. The Wild left them all in Minnesota because the Wild play Winnipeg tomorrow in Minnesota. And really, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. Wild are still going to win this game. They're still going to cover the puck line. against this Blackhawks team, even without those four guys. Marco Rossi got called up. Most likely he'll make his debut or his re-debut this year after killing it in Iowa all season long. Brock Faber, who's on the trip, may make his NHL debut tonight. Gustav Nyquist was great in his first game with the Wild. I think the Wild still cover this puck line. 8-0 in the last 8 meetings between the teams, covering the puck line in 5 of 8. Chicago, 1-10 in their last 11. All 10 losses were by multiple goals. It doesn't bug me whatsoever that the Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and Spurgeon and Brodin are not in this game. I think the Wild still take it by multiple goals in this one. Hawks money line? No. Because even with those four guys out, the Wild still have a much more talented roster up and down the lineup than Chicago does, even with those guys out. And we know the Blackhawks, like I said, 1-10 in their last 11. I'm not worried. Boldy back at it, anytime goal. Possibly, I'm staying off Wild props, at least for today, just because I don't know the lineups. It's very well, I might add some props later on, but I have to see the lineup, how things are going to look. I'm assuming Boldy, Johansson, and Rossi will be together, but I have to see it. What happens here, and then see what props will be available, because likely there probably won't be many. At least Rossi and Faber, two guys I'd like to target. Moving on to our next game, Nashville Predators, Calgary Flames. Nashville plus 150 to plus 181. Calgary minus 189 to minus 222. 5.5s right across the board in this one. Two teams fighting for a playoff spot, but Winnipeg definitely has the leg up over these teams. Let me go up to it here. Winnipeg with 91, Calgary with 90, Nashville with 88, and Winnipeg has a game in hand on Calgary. So the loser of this game is basically out of the playoffs. The winner of this game is basically still in it. When it comes to side or total, I can't get, or sorry, when it comes to a side, I can't get involved here. I'm not laying this price with Calgary, but Nashville, a team that is really, really inconsistent. I just don't know what I'm going to get from them. When they play well, and they can win games, but when they don't, they just don't. And I just don't know what kind of Predators team I'm going to get. But I like the under here. I got it at 6. Now we're seeing 5.5s across the board here. I would still take it at 5.5. I think this game finishes 2-1, maybe 3-1 with an empty netter. But this is like a playoff type game. Neither team is going to want to make a mistake in this one. I think we see huge defensive effort for both teams, and both goalies play well. Nashville's gone under 5.5 in 6 of their last 8. Calgary in 3 of their last 6, and 4 of the last 5 meetings between the teams have gone under 5.5. So I like the under here. I'm assuming for a 2-1 or 3-1 final score in this one. The final NHL game we'll talk about, and then I'll run through the rest that I didn't. Vancouver Canucks plus 140 to plus 165. LA Kings minus 182 to minus 200. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Vancouver 2-2-2 in their last 6 games. LA 2-5 in their last 7. The Kings are not heading into the playoffs the way you want to head into the playoffs. Both teams trending towards the under. Vancouver in 3 of 6. Vancouver in 5 of their last 7. LA 5 of their last 7. Vancouver 9-1-1 in the last 11 meetings between the teams. LA is coming off a win in the most recent meeting between the teams, but LA just not playing well right now. Vancouver's had their number for a long time, and this is just too big of a price with the Canucks. So I will take them here as a road dog, based on their previous history and the price that I'm getting for them. too good to pass up here. Bring this up here. Islanders in Washington is a pass for me. Um, Islanders money line, I think, is a good parlay piece. I think the Islanders win this game. No TJ Oshie for the rest of the year. Ovechkin is out for this game. The Washington Capitals have won one of their last 10. Islanders 3-1-2 in the last 6 meetings. I think this is a good Islanders money line parlay piece spot. But other than that, nothing. Carolina, Ottawa, that's a complete pass for me. Not getting involved. Ottawa trending to the over, Carolina to the under. Previous meetings towards the under, but not getting to anything there. Went over Buffalo, New York Rangers, Toronto, Florida. Toronto at plus 130. I can see why that would tempt people. But like Minnesota, I think Toronto rests a bunch of guys tonight. They have Tampa Bay tomorrow. They're facing Tampa Bay in the playoffs at home. They're definitely looking ahead towards the playoffs or towards tomorrow's game. This is just not a spot I think is good for the Leafs whatsoever. I think Florida wins this game probably by multiple goals, but I'm not going to take them on the puck line. Florida 8-2 in the last 10 at home against Toronto. This is just not a good spot for Toronto. Even without having to face Tampa Bay tomorrow, the fact that they're facing Tampa Bay tomorrow and then in the playoffs, I think it's just a horrible spot for them. So I like Florida to win this game. Barkov to get an assist. He's done in 13 of 15 games. Fortunately, it's minus 175, so it's got to be a parlay piece. Kachuk assist. He has one in 4 of his last 5, minus 130. So for me, a parlay piece. And Brandon Montour, who has an assist in 6 straight games and 12 of his last 15, minus 135. Again, out of my price range. So it's a parlay piece. San Jose, Winnipeg. Absolutely nothing here. Sharks 7-2 in their last 9 trips to Winnipeg. 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. The last 4 meetings, low scoring games. So it would be a lean with the under, but I'm not getting to anything in this one. Despite Sharks playing very well in Winnipeg and against Winnipeg, I'm definitely not laying minus 314 with Winnipeg, but not taking San Jose. But I won't be shocked if they upset and win this game. Minnesota, Chicago, we went over. Nashville, Calgary, we went over. Seattle, Arizona. This is my picks and parlays exclusive play of the day. I have a play in this game up on the site. But one prop that I'll give out, Jordan Eberle, anytime goal, plus 240. He has a goal in 4 straight games, 2+ points in 3 straight games. I think Jordan Eberle is a great look. Jared McCann to get a point is minus 205, so it would have to be a parlay piece. But he has a point in 4 straight games. Obviously, they play on the top line together, Eberle and McCann. Vancouver, LA, we already went over. Share this tab, and then I'll go here to baseball and bring this up. A game I have a bet in, Preds money line. Don't trust the frames at this place. Yes. Ovi once Pens out of the playoffs, sits out versus Florida and New York. Hey. Leafs money line, must win, doesn't equal will win. Yes, but nobody's saying that. That's the same thing with the Islanders. They have to win. And the Jets, they have to win. Doesn't mean they will. But I get what you're saying, Nick. But horrible spot for the Leafs, in my opinion. But we'll agree to disagree. White Sox and Minnesota Twins. White Sox minus 110 to minus 125. Minnesota minus 105 to plus 104. 7.5s right across the board here at this game. And the entire world is on the White Sox. I haven't seen one person on Minnesota in this game. And that includes myself. I'm not on Minnesota in this game. But I'm not taking the White Sox. It scares me that everybody is on them. Minnesota playing well to start off the year here. I get it. Cease is on the mound. And that's why everyone loves the White Sox here. but I'm not confident in a side here when it comes to the total. We've seen what the White Sox have done recently with very high scoring games. Of course, I'm not taking the over with these two pitchers. I think it's a low scoring game. I think Minnesota probably wins 2-1 or 3-2, um, but not taking a side or total. But I do have two player props. What I did is parlay these together because let me get it here. Because I want to have some kind of action on the early game. But so I have a small two-player point hit parlay. Gavin Sheets hitting 400 this year, 667 against Maeda, and Andrew Vaughn, who's hitting 273 this year, 500 against Maeda. Only in 4 at bats for Vaughn, 3 at bats for Sheets against Maeda, but they've hit him well, and they're both hitting well right now, both in the lineup. So those are the two players I like for this one. System play, dog to a favorite, Sox first 5, and money line. There you go. Faber making his debut tonight confirmed. Rossi and Addison in as well. Yes, that is absolutely awesome. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm so excited to watch this game. That's the future right there. Faber, Rossi, Addison. Addison may or may not get traded in the future. I don't know what's going to happen with him. But yes, the Wild have some young guns coming, and I'm so excited. This game here, Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay Rays. One of my only early baseball plays. It's funny, most of my plays in the NHL are late. So are my baseball plays. A late night for me. Here, Boston and Tampa. Tampa minus 150 and minus 167. Boston around plus 130. 8.5s here. There was a pitching change for Tampa Bay, which is good. They switched to Beeks instead of Fleming. Fleming has got rocked by basically all of their Boston Red Sox players. So I am hoping that it's not Beeks for a couple innings and then Fleming comes in because I am on Tampa Bay here. They have won every game by 4 more runs. They continue to smash everybody they face. Now they're getting this Red Sox team. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is Fleming's numbers against Tampa Bay. Against Boston. Boston is hitting well. But Tampa Bay, the number 1 hitting team against righties this year so far, facing Pivetta. Tampa Bay has hit Pivetta well. Isaac Paredes, 3 for 6, 500 against Pivetta. Randy Arozarena, 5 for 14, 357 against Pivetta. Harold Ramirez, 4 for 12, 333 average against Pivetta. Paredes and Ramirez have a 286 average this year, and Randy Arozarena 3.71. I think those 3 players have good days at the plate. For Boston, Verdugo and Duvall, both smashing the ball right now. Both have good numbers against Beeks. So I would look at them. But I like Tampa here. Money line is a parlay piece, and the run line. I like them here by multiple runs. So does Nick. Yeah, it's kind of a play you just have to stick with because look what they've done over and over and over again all season long. Next game here, Washington and the LA Angels. Washington plus 185 or plus 195 to plus 215. LA around minus 229 to minus 250. 10s and 9.5s. If you can get that 9.5, grab it. Take the over. I like runs in this game. We've got Corbin on the mound against Suarez for the Angels. Both inflated ERAs, 8 ERA for Corbin so far, 12.46 ERA for Suarez. Only 1 game, I think, for Suarez here. But the Angels, the number 1 team against lefties when it comes to batting average this year, or OPS when it comes to OPS this year. And now they get to face one of the worst lefties in the league with Corbin. We saw what happened with the Angels yesterday in the Blue Jays game. I think Corbin gets lit up here. I think Washington can score some runs too. So give me the over. Washington is 12th in OPS against lefties. So they've hit lefties well as well. And I like over runs in this game all over the place. Happy Patrick Corbin Day. Angels, yes, run first inning. I hope so. Corbin Day, Angels any way you can, or the over. By the way, some teams are looking at Dallas Keuchel. Oh, well, everyone knows what that means, a cash cow. Cash cow coming. When it comes to player props here in this one, sorry, there's basically players for every game. So Stone Garrett, Victor Robles, and Lane Thomas for Washington. All over 359 averages. Never faced Arizona pitcher or Angels pitcher, and then Trout and Otani both smashing the ball. They've never faced Corbin, but they'll get their first chance to face Corbin today. Looking at our next game, Milwaukee Brewers, Arizona Diamondbacks. Milwaukee plus 115 to plus 129. Arizona minus 130 to minus 150. 8.5s and 9s available here at this one. Zach Gallen on the mound for Arizona. Miley on the mound for Milwaukee. Miley 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Hasn't allowed a run yet. Gallen 0-1 with a 7.59 ERA. Got lit up in his first start. I am expecting a better game from him. But Milwaukee, fourth best team against righties so far this year. They've been hitting the ball well. And I can't pass up this price with the Brewers as a dog. They're just playing great baseball right now. I know that Arizona as well lately with their back-to-back wins against the Dodgers. But I like the spot for the Brewers. And I think they get the win here at a nice dog price. Gallen minus 1.5. Okay. Although the Brewers are elite. Yes, they are. And Gallen has not looked elite this year. We'll see if he can bounce back today. And back to this game. Player props for this one. Jesse Winker, Garrett Mitchell, Yelich, and Brian Anderson, all for Milwaukee. All have good records against Gallen, and all are playing well this year. Arizona, it's kind of hard to find props. Guys that they haven't faced Miley, and then the guys that play the best are guys that aren't regulars in the lineup. So I got to see who's actually playing for Arizona before I can take any props there. We'll go to the next game, and then we'll go through the quick run through of the rest of the games, and then get to the best bet segment. Dodgers and Giants here. Dodgers minus 141 to minus 155. San Francisco plus 120 to plus 133. 7s and 7.5s available in this one. Arias against Webb. 2-0 Arias with a 1.50 ERA. Webb 0-2 with a 6.55 ERA in this one. And Logan Webb has got off to a rough start this year. And this is not the team that he wants to face when you're looking to bounce back. Freddie Freeman is 10 for 20 with a 500 average against Webb. Mookie Betts, 10 for 23 with a 435 average. James Outman, 1 for 1. 1 for 1 in his career against him, but playing well this year. Those three players, I think, will light Webb up. I don't think this is a good spot for him at all. I like the Dodgers to win. I like those players to get hits or multiple bases. And then the Thero Estrada for San Francisco. He's 5 for 17 against Urias, 294 average. And he's hitting 364 this year. So Thero Estrada is the player I would look at for San Francisco. But I think the Dodgers, after losing a couple of games in a row, bounce back in this one. Looking at the rest of the games that we did not go over, let me go here. We went over White Sox and Twins, Yankees, and Cleveland. I'll just tell you guys the players I'm targeting for player props. Gleyber Torres, 5 for 9 against Bieber. 357 averages here for Gleyber Torres. For Cleveland, Andrew Jimenez, 350 averages here, 333 average against German. Houston, no side or total there for me. Just player props pretty much the rest of the way now. Houston and Pittsburgh, nobody. Staying off this game. I think it's going to be because of the pitching matchup. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. So it'd be lean with the under, but taking an under with Pittsburgh right now is just not something I'm going to do. So nothing in that game. Oakland and Baltimore. Ramon Laureano for Oakland, 533 average, 8 for 15 against Gibson. Adley Rushman, the player I hate the most. I don't like Patrick Kane in the NHL. I don't like Adley Rutschman in the MLB, but he's hitting the ball well. 389 this year, 1 for 2 average against Sears. Miami and Pittsburgh, or Miami and Philadelphia here. I really lean heavily towards the Phillies in this spot. But I faded Alcantara in his second start against Minnesota. I'm not going to fade him here in his third, but Philadelphia players, there's 4 of them here that absolutely smash Alcantara. Edmundo Sosa, 3 for 6, a 500 average. Trey Turner, 10 for 27 with a 370 average. Alec Boehm, 6 for 17 with a 353 average. Brian Stott, 4 for 17 with a 235 average. But Stott, 15 for 35 this year with a 429 average. And then Sosa, Trey Turner, and Alec Boehm all have higher than 300 averages, all smash Alcantara. I don't think this is a good spot for Miami. Miami players, Garrett Cooper, 324 averages here, 500 average against Strom in this one. Boston, Tampa Bay, we went over. San Diego, New York Mets. Nelson Cruz, 14 for 34 with a 412 average against Scherzer. Mets fans, you better hope that Nelson Cruz isn't in the lineup. If he is, I'll have some props for him. Bogarts smashing the ball well for San Diego this year. For the Mets, Starling Marte, 8 for 20 with a 400 average against Darvish, and he is leading the Mets in hitting average this year. So it'd be Starling Marte for Mets. Cincinnati and Atlanta. Stevenson for Cincinnati. Matt Olson for Atlanta. The players I'm looking at there. Seattle and the Cubs. Ty France and Julio Rodriguez for Seattle. For the Cubs, Nico Horner, Eric Hosmer, Ian Happ, and Dansby Swanson. The Cubs. This is the test for Luis Castillo, who's been great. Who hasn't allowed a run yet this year. This is the test for him in this one. These 4 Cubs players, Nico Horner, 4 for 6 with a 667 average. Hosmer, 10 for 16 with a 625 average. Happ and Swanson both hit him well also, and all 4 of those players are smashing the ball this year. So this is the test for Castillo, and we'll see what happens. But I like those players to get hits. Kansas City and Texas, nobody for Kansas City. For Texas, Adolis Garcia, 7 for 13 with a 539 average against Greinke. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, both over 300 averages against Greinke. They've hit him well. Those are the 3 players I target. Texas money line as a parlay piece. in this one, although Heaney not off to a good start in his first start. St. Louis and Colorado. St. Louis, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman, Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker, Alec Burleson, all smashing the ball this year. The top four all have good records against Marquez. And it's in Coors Field, so I can see all those players getting hits for Colorado. Blackman, CJ Crone, Elias Diaz, and Chris Bryant all have great averages against Steven Matz. And I could see a high scoring game in that one as well. Washington, LA, we went over. And the final games, we went over. So we made it through the slate. I know I have a bunch of player props, but that's not good for the Mets. That's not good for the Mets. Okay, best bet. I'll go through. I'll get your guys' best bet here in a second. We'll look quickly at what happened on Sunday for best bets. Tampa Bay Rays money line, Minnesota Twins money line. Unfortunately, the Twins did not win for me. Vaughn and Rosarena for Richie. Unfortunately, Vaughn didn't do anything yesterday. Captain Bry, Tampa Bay run line, Mets money line. The Mets lost. Crystal went with Tampa Bay team total over 5. They scored 11. Easy winner there. And then Terry LeJoy went with Tampa Bay run line and the Boston Bruins money line in the NHL plus 121 winner. Here in the standings, Crystal off to a great start, 7-2, up 5.92 units. Lots of us here in the green. With my loss, I was getting close to getting back to the green, but with my loss yesterday, down here in the red. But we'll look to get it going today. I went with Tampa Bay Rays and the Minnesota Twins money line yesterday. Today, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Minnesota Wild money line. So I'm switching Minnesota teams and going to the NHL plus 121 for those two teams on the money line. Tim is going to go with Chicago White Sox. And it's 1.5 plus 160. Good luck. Nobody in the world is on the Twins. Angels team total over. Team total over 5.5 minus 125. All right. If Marte plays, Burleson, yes, I know you guys like him. Yes, I know. But he's hitting well, so I think he can get a hit tonight. Weekend best bets, I made poor decisions somehow. Maybe you miss the live show. Maybe it's my breakdowns. No, I'm kidding, Richie. I'm kidding. But best bet for Crystal is Arvis over 5.5 strikeouts plus LAD money line plus 188. Right. And Richie is going to go with his usual Pavelski anytime goal plus Heiskanen assist. I'll find out what the odds are for that after the show. But that is today's show. If you want to put your best bets in, I forgot to go to the best bet. I've been doing that lately, forgetting to go to the best bet screen. But if you want to put in your best bet, feel free. Just throw it in the comments after the video is done. But that is today's show. Best of luck to everybody. We'll see you again for more episodes. Thanks, Richie. But we'll see you guys again. Best of luck. We'll be back tomorrow, another episode. Getting wild and flying high. Free NHL and MLB picks. Best of luck, guys.